Hey, what's up, guys? Bajheera here. This video's been a long time coming, and I appreciate your patience on this one. Finally, another character update for the big fella in New World. This big boy right here. We've been working hard in New World, having a lot of fun. But over the past 2 weeks or so, had a little bit of a cold. Then we went on vacation for Thanksgiving. So I didn't have a lot of PC time, and I didn't want to be making a video being like, oh, like, what's up, guys? Bajheera here. You know, I didn't want to do all that to you, so. But I have been very excited to make a new character video update for you because there have been some developments, both for my character and for our server. So before I dive into what's been going on with my character, I want to take a look at the map real quick, guys. Check this out. Let's scroll out a little bit. Boop, 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 boop. Boom! Now, I told you that Green had been working together as a faction. We've been uniting the tribes, and we have been kicking some serious butt. Now, just from the outset of it, you can see that Green has definitely gained some territory. I think at some point I'm going to want to go through and make a little bit more in-depth lore of the the East server for you guys. But just in short, we had left off before our attack on Windsward. And I've continued to post the actual wars for you. And I've done them hopefully mostly in order so you can kind of see the developments. But when we left off, we had control of First Light, we had control of Restless Shore, and we had just won a war in Everfall. So after that, the real dominant Covenant team, we sent some sort of green troops, some green troops, some rookies into a battle at Cutlass Keys to just get some more XP. Got beaten there, but then after that, the super hardcore Covenant team ended up, because they felt like we couldn't put up any like opposition to them because of this war in Cutlass Keys where I sent all the rookies, they decided to take some people from green, some people from purple, and leave the server. Right? They were like really hyped about leaving the server anyway. They wanted to go and conquest on the server. Plus, they had a lot of friends on this server, so I think they were gonna kind of feel bad about being like the bad guy on the server and like taking over the whole map if they wanted to do that. So they ended up leaving. But I think also one of the things that contributed to that was they saw what we could do at Everfall when we beat a very, very strong Covenant army that featured quite a few of them and quite a few of the other powerful Covenant teams. And then they also saw what happened when they were like 500 green troops out pushing territories and defending territories. I think that they knew that we were going to be bringing the heat, and they wanted to go out on top, which I respect. And I think if they came back to this server, it would be a pretty good battle. They'd probably still be kicking butt, but I think they saw the writing on the wall. They knew the green machine was chugging. They knew we were coming. And so they decided to take off, which opened up the possibility of green taking back Windsward and taking basically the whole map, because green's army right now is definitely by far the strongest. We've been able to take Windsward. For my guild, it actually took a couple tries, right? We fought once for Windsward while the main Covenant guild was there. We fought again for Windsward and failed against the remaining rallied troops. I think that battle though was mostly on us. We had some strategy that needed to be tightened up, basically. You know, we had to focus on what's effective for our team, and we brought it again a third time. Like, we lost that war, I immediately just took my guild, started pushing territory again, and we immediately declared war again. And then that last war, we got everything together, everything worked perfectly, and we took the territory no problem. So that's awesome. We've been in control of Windsward for a while now, loving it. Don't mind the 2% taxes. That's just offsetting the fact that taxes were like 10% of what they were before. So we just switched that up to make some free money for the company. Don't you worry about that. And then we ended up taking Ebon Scale, in what was an insanely epic war. Probably the best war on the server so far. Took Ebon Scale in a hard-fought battle. This is for Bajheera's Dauntless, my second guild, which is pretty hype. And then we most recently took Brightwood for Ruin Guild. So, and we held on to that a couple times. There have been a couple attacks for this. Looks like an attack's coming for Everfall, and an attack's coming for Windsward here pretty soon. And I think we talked about taking Reekwater as well, but we took Reekwater too, which is cool for the little bonus luck and stuff. So the green guild's looking good. We're probably gonna make it a little assault on first light because even though we've been being nice to purple, they're kind of acting up. So we're gonna have to go teach them a lesson, and we're probably gonna be moving in on some of these yellow territories too, just for fun, to keep the server bumping and to make sure that people remember that if you guys decide to attack green, there's gonna be consequences. Can't be. There's been like a period of immunity once green has taken over. The period of green prosperity has been a peaceful one on the server, except for purple did attack all of our territories on the same day. We did defend all those territories, thankfully. And there's been a couple assaults from the Covenant on some of our territories, so we've been very, very kind. We've been letting those slide, but I feel like we're gonna have to strike back here pretty soon, just for fun. But yeah, green's doing great. I'm very glad that we have Windsward. The storyline of the server has been awesome. I think this dynamic was really, really neat. About there were whispers of Covenant leaving. They've been wanting to leave for a while. We send in, under the, and they've been doing it under the guise of not being able to find competition, even though we beat them at Everfall. I think they just wanted to leave. So then they were gonna stay for a little while when we beat them at Everfall because they thought they had competition. And then I send a rookie army into them at Cutlass Keys, and they're like, "See, we beat everybody too easily. We're leaving," which frees up our ability to take Windsward. So some pretty funny little tactical, political happenings on the server for sure. For sure. Makes the game a whole lot of fun. But yeah, I just want to take a quick second to look at the lore. I think a longer lore video would be pretty fun, but the story of the server has been so cool. So cool. And like the ins and outs of it all have been really, really fun. And you'll see these things playing out if you guys tune into the stream regularly. But anyway, with the general map layout complete, we can kind of dive into the character update. Look, I've been talking about that all so long it even became night in the game. Oh boy. But anyway, we'll get some timestamps. You guys will be all right. Let's take a look at my characters. So I think last time we did the character gear update video, I was rocking full Void Bent, which really got me a strong start. It was a good investment early on. Set me up with some good heavy armor to take into battle. But I think as time has gone on, I'm sort of easing back into a more medium focused build. I feel like after playing everything, I haven't played light armor in a long time. I don't imagine it would be much better, but I could give it a try. But I think that after playing light armor in the beginning, when I was leveling and loving it, playing medium armor a little bit, after that enjoying it, and then swapping into heavy armor for big wars and liking that too. I mean, all of it's been good, but right now I've come back to medium just because medium gives you good resistances. It gives you a good amount of armor and stuff. But the big thing is the hops. The medium iframes and the medium dodges are just really good. You can do 3 of them before you're stammed out. It's just a really good combo, and it's probably what I recommend for Hammer Great Axe at this point. And it's just solid. It's hard to get away from how good the mobility is, both for escape and for offense. You don't really actually gain any movement with medium armor, and I think the movement that you gain from light armor is just, it's a too big of a price to pay for how hard you get hit. So I think medium's a good middle ground. And how I achieve medium right now is not very well optimized. I'm at 21.1. You really want to be at 22.9, but this is just kind of the way that my gear works out. My gear is good. We're at 585 total item level, which only means so much. The big thing is that I'm actually able to get 250 strength and 200 con. That's pretty big. Now, if I upgrade my gear a little bit more, then with full food buffs, I can be 300 strength, 200 con, which would be crazy. All I need is 10 more stat points to make that happen on gear. And where I will get those 10 stat points, I'll show you. But anyway, you're gonna hear me cough a little bit still, because we are still working through that cold. But let's take a look. So I do have 5-piece Void Bent, and it's still very useful to fill in my gear, and it's still useful for a luck set too. Like, if I'm not, like, the pieces of void bent that I'm not using right now for my main set, I probably could put pearls in there. Um, just because, like, I could just use them for the luck set, and I could use these for, I use these for tanking too, but, I don't, you know, the damage reduction for tanking is kind of nice still. But anyway, using the void bent helm, which is still giving me everything that void bent gives, which is really, really good stuff. I'm a little bit lighter on the resilience stat when I do this build, but it's okay. Because as you move into the next phase of gearing, for me, like this is like stage 3 of gearing, after the resilient perk got nerfed, and after you start wanting to, well, I'll just say it this way. After the resilient perk got nerfed and it really only affects crits, it's still a useful stat, but it's not like a mandatory, you have to have it on every piece gear thing. I think that getting good perks, good skill perks, becomes more important. Now, I'm wearing this piece because it gives me the stats that I want, and it does come with one skill perk. Wrecking Ball isn't like a huge damage ability, but it is kind of nice. Like, it says it penetrates 19% of target's armor. On low armor targets, this thing can crit for, like, you know, almost like 3k. Like, it hits for like 2,500 crits on like light armor, medium armor with like resilience on and stuff. So I mean, it's not a weak hitting ability, so by any means. So I wear this, but I also wear this because it fits my weight category and it gives me the full 25 stats to play with. So I like this. I was wondering if I wanted to stop using Sundering Shockwave because it did get nerfed, but after some testing, I think it's still worth using. So I could either use in this situation Void Bent gauntlets for more resilience and invigoration and stuff and one more stat point, or I could wear these heavy gloves that I found for, you know, the Sundering Shockwave perk. And I'm going to go ahead and use a Sundering Shockwave right now. I would say the big ones that you want are Sundering Shockwave, Insatiable Gravwell, and then potentially Leeching Path of Destiny. I'm not using Leeching right now, but I am using this one. So same thing, Strength Con, Insatiable Gravwell with Refreshing Ward. So my cooldowns with Refreshing Ward do, you know, get that little bonus. But what I'd love to see instead of luck on something like this is resilience. But once again, I am kind of prioritizing getting the stats that I want over certain perks. So resilience is really, really good, but I kind of like hitting that 200 con. I think 200 con is about as low as I'd rather go. Sometimes I'll play 150 con with 300 strength, but I do like to have those nice even stat points. So we're rocking this for big Insatiable Gravwell, where you're gaining 50% of your damage with Gravity Well back as health, and cast another burst around you on a successful hit that deals 125% weapon damage. I think Insatiable is probably your most important perk. That extra burst is pretty nuts. When you're on top of somebody swinging and your Gravwell detonates and it hits them for 2 big hits, like, it's pretty wild burst damage. And you can imagine what that's like in an AoE situation, so pretty big. So Insatiable Gravwell is probably like the #1 perk to get, although Sundering Shockwave is also very, very good. So those two are probably the big ones. And then I'll rock the Void Bent boots as well. And since I have full Void Bent, I can mix and match. So if I ended up getting, you know, like I do have medium gloves with Sundering, so that's good. So if I found like a nice pair of light legs and medium boots to wear that fit my perk demands and everything else, then I could probably throw on the heavy Void Bent chest and be good to go. So you can mix and match. Ideally, like we talked about before, you want like heavy helm, heavy chest, medium gloves, medium boots, light pants. That's going to put you at 22.9 weight with the best like armor stats that you can get. So I'm leaving a little bit of like mitigation on the table from my gear not being optimized this way, but it's optimized for stats and it works. My accessories, I'm still using the Infinity Crystal. I feel like it's going to take a while for me to replace this thing. It's such a good item. It comes from a quest in Shattered Mountains. I'm gonna have to pay a lot of gold to get a thing. I'm not idle. I'm talking to my piece with my gear. Come on now. Let's go this way. There we go. Hard to replace this. It has 3 perks, so it does not have a jewel, like a little gem socket, but it's just so good. What you are doing is you're leaving 2 stat points on the table, right? This could potentially be 25 stats if you bought a legendary one, or you got a legendary one somehow, but gaining more health from all incoming healing effects, huge. Fortifies, lasting longer on you, huge. 9% more maximum health, huge. It's going to cost a lot of gold, or be really lucky to find one that's better than this, or it's going to take forever to like farm your drop score to get something to drop as high as this. But still using this for a while. It definitely can be upgraded. It's just going to be like a little bit hard to do. That's okay though. I ended up buying this one off of somebody for 20k gold, which I think is still a little bit of a high price for it. But it is very good. It's one stat point off of 25. It's got the onyx in there already because you can't change gems in crafted rings like this. Refreshing of 2.8%, which is great, and the keen awareness, which is like I love crit. I really try to make sure everything has crit on it that I can, like which is basically just weapon and ring, but still. Then I'm still rocking the good old ill-gotten gain. Now you can upgrade this eventually. There are earrings that drop from Genesis that have like close to ill-gotten gain stat. It has regen and refreshing toast, I believe, which is good. But until it drops at a high enough eye level to give you reasonably good stats, like if it gives you like, you know, even just like 22 or 21 strength, I believe is what it'll drop with, is strength. It's gonna take a while to farm that drop score up to get this to be a better earring. And I don't know if you're gonna be able to buy. I mean, there's something that can be crafted. If somebody could craft regenerating and refreshing on an earring, losing the duplicating toast probably isn't as huge of a deal. It's nice, but it's not as huge of a deal. Then that could be something to think about. But rocking ill-gotten gain from good old Master Harold, that's still really, really good. So I'm still using it. I have a lot of room for upgrading my weapon. I actually bought this off the auction house just because it fixes my stats at the time. I mean, but don't get me wrong, it's a 600 eye level with 11% crit chance, so at full strength. It's not a bad weapon. It's just obviously I have room for another perk, but I mean this could be a purple weapon. It's just another crappy perk on it, right? If you can imagine that. It's like it's a just imagine it's purple and it says does 14% more damage to angry earth or something like that, right? And then it's like close enough. But we're on the lookout for another high upgraded or high level axe, and on my server people, you know, are pretty active, so you see a lot of, you know, legendary weapons in global now, because people have been playing a lot and farmed up that drop score, and so legendaries are really starting to drop over here. So we'll have to see if I can upgrade this eventually. I bought this one. It has 29 strength. It's keen and vicious, so it does extra critical chance and extra crit damage. That's pretty fun. I have a leeching path of destiny hammer, which is still, you know, 29 strength. It's a little on the low end of that range, but still okay. Gives me leeching path. I actually found this myself out of a chest, so it was kind of funny. So if I do want leeching path of destiny, which is a great trait to look for, healing for a percentage of the damage dealt by path of destiny, a really, really good trait. I could pop this one on. But I've just been saying, you know what, whatever, we'll just rock the crit, double crit. It's pretty fun. Hard hitting hammer heavies, whoo boy, you can put somebody down with those things. So if you can get it to crit, it'll crit even harder than usual. So that's pretty juicy. I do like this hammer. I also have the Woods Warden, which is a hammer that drops uniquely from Genesis. It gives you crit and it gives you keenly fortified. So, but it's only a 3-second fortify, so not super valuable, but still kind of cool. But usually you're bringing your hammer out to try to CC. So like if you shockwave somebody and it crits and then you get fortified for 3 seconds, you're really not even benefiting from the fortify because it's like when they're stunned, right? Not a huge deal, but still kind of cool. Those are my battle weapons for the most part. This is what I'm using right now, and then I have like just a luck shield. I have a legendary sword, which is pretty cool. This is my tanking sword. This is a great sword. More crit, more threat, and lifesteal is awesome. The only problem with it for me is that it comes with dexterity. So dexterity is kind of a wasted stat for me. But whatever. Use that for tanking and for, you know, for luck runs and stuff. And then I'm rocking the Soul Hatchet, which is a unique drop from Lazarus. Comes with crit, chain fire. It's pretty cool. I think it came with Opportunist. I'm not sure. No, I think it came with a fire gem. If I put Opportunist in there, that I guess that answers the jewel or the gem question. Is I like the Opportunist gem. I think it's a what's it called? Just the green gem, not malachite, the other one. that goes in the hatchets. I put opals in both my great axe and my hammer. You can put a malachite in a hammer because it does more damage whilst things are CC'd or slowed, but it's like you're gonna do it does more damage if you just put an opal in and don't have full stam. So just dodge. You're dodging all the time. So I just like that playstyle. That's consistent for me. And of course for tanking you put a little red gem in there. And then you're good to go for tanking. If you want more luck stuff, you can put like pearls in your stuff. I did buy these two. These just give me more threat, so I can justify wearing it in dungeons, and then it gives me luck. Both of these have luck rolls on it. This is just, you know, constitution and luck. We take those. We take those for tanking. But that's my character's setup in terms of the armor, weapons. I know I talked about this it's a long video, but I like talking about this kind of min-max stuff. The basics for gems are I put full onyx in all my stuff that I can, opal in my slow hitting, hard hitting two-handers, and then you put a whatever this is. Forget what this gem is called. In my hatchet, and a carnelian in the sword for tanking. And then you can put pearls in your luck stuff as long as you're not like trolling your group and taking way more damage, which I kind of am, but I still tank just fine, so I can do that for pearls. In terms of weapons, my build for the weapons has changed just a little. Here are my stats again. I'm changing my build fairly often, but I've actually been sticking to this build for a little while now. It's not unique. I think I've probably even showed this. This sounds like a build that I've played before, like early on. This is, I would argue, is like a fairly standard build. And they charge, reap, grab well. I've played a lot of different stuff, but I've come back to this for medium armor, just because the charge for medium armor can get you out of fights a lot easier than like heavy, but it can also help you get into fights and catch up. So I think charge ends up gaining more utility because you're actually mobile with medium armor, and whereas with heavy armor you're really not very mobile. So with heavy is more like you just kind of plant yourself on a point or plant yourself somewhere and just play the chargeless build, just AoE around you. But with medium, I have more mobility, so I can go back to charge. With reap, I'm still going through all these passives because they're all juicy. I'm not gonna go as fat. I'm not gonna read each one this time around because the video's already been pretty long. But I'm taking all these passives because they're nice. Light attacks, armor shred, crit heal, doing more damage while when an enemy blocks. You need this to get. I don't love this one, but you need it to get down to this, which is just more crit damage, which is sick. You heal against low health foes, and you crit more against low health foes. I do take the spin after reap. It's pretty nice actually, especially because now reap comes with a small root effect, so you usually can get that secondary reap hit. And reap does not give them a free roll dodge anymore because they fixed that bug. And then of course bloodlust is insane, faster movement, and 15% more damage. But it looks like they nerfed the range on bloodlust as we're looking at a foe within 1.3 meters. But I don't know. I feel like it might be. It's a little longer than that. I feel like that's not right. But anyway, heavy pull, heavy attacks with the great axe pull foes closer to you. I'm mostly taking this because I want it to work with gravity. I feel like this does not work with gravity, because if it caused a pull, and then hopefully it would cause a quarter-second root. I'm not so sure it does, so I'm gonna have to take a look at this and see if heavy pull actually interacts. Because if not, I might just go Mauler's Resolve for more dodges, right? Because this is pretty sick. I do like the Enduring Strike. I'm not playing 300 Strength, so I don't have grit on my attacks, but having grit on the heavy attack is cool, and the 20% damage reduction ain't too shabby either. Then I go down for Grab Well, obviously. We go for Crowded Well. Just because, like, for War and for Outpost Rush, it's nice to get a big Grab Well on multiple targets and smack them with the extra damage. Because I wonder if this affects your secondary burst, too. But either way, it's still even on one enemy, it's still just increasing your damage by 10% on Grab Well, so it's an okay point. I don't take the Fortify, but I do take this one. The Crowded Protection. While holding a Great Axe, you gain 10% damage absorption when 3 or more foes are within 4 meters. Now, this does nothing for you 1v1. So if you're doing 1v1, maybe you do take Fortify while standing in your well, just so that you can take less damage while you're brawling and you've got somebody caught in your well. Or you can take a different talent entirely, you know, but you can take like extra point in charge, something like that, and if you're for 1v1s. But my build is not really 1v1. I'm mostly focused on Outpost Rush and War for this build, just hunting down squishies. but it's a good one. It's a good setup, and this is pretty standard, but I do like it. So that's the Great Axe setup. On my Warhammer setup, I went for clear out for a little while. Now I'm back to Wrecking Ball because I have that legendary with the perk on it. So what I'm doing here for access to Wrecking Ball is I like Armor Pen. I love the Stamina Drain. I love the Heavy Empower. I love the Heavy Grit. And then we go for Wrecking Ball. And I also think this is really fun. 35% extra damage for 1 second after taking damage. So like when you're in the mix, or somebody has made the foolish mistake of dotting you when you have your hammer out, and you put somebody in Wrecking Ball, Shockwave, heavy attack, heavy empowered attack, kabang! You know, you're dealing heavy hammer hits, which is juicy. There is one where you can deal more damage against low health targets. I don't usually take that. It's just unreliable. But can you imagine how hard you would hit with that, right? I just think the points are better spent somewhere else. Like Outnumbered is damage absorption. You go full points in Shockwave. You get the little teeny haste buff, but I think you probably need this anyway. Dealing more damage against stun targets. You're healing yourself a little bit off of these two abilities, which is kind of nice. This plus Leeching Path of Destiny makes it a pretty big heal, which is something to consider. Full Path of Destiny perks, just so that you can mostly get down to Aftershock, which slows people after they're affected by any crowd control effect from your hammer. Can you imagine how bad this would be with me actually being sick? So that's why this video took a second. But that's the Warhammer build. Hatchet build will stay the same. Heavy investment into the Berserk, all the way down to Cheat Death. All these passives to empower your heavies, empower your lights. Three attacks gives you Fortify, base damage for anything around you, and then Feral Charge just for the teeny tiny mobility. There's an argument to be made to go Raging Torrent instead of Feral Rush, but I kind of like it. Honestly, I don't really use Hatchet at all for PvP these days. It's mostly for PvE, so probably honestly could go Raging Torrent instead for PvE. I do like Rending Throw. It's a low cooldown. They shorten the cooldown even, so you can have 100% rend up time on like a boss or something like that. Real nice. That helps you. You know, this deals more damage. So like if you're Rending Throwing on cooldown, it'll deal more damage. Take this for the 5% crit. Take this for just extra damage with targets with a debuff, which will always have a debuff because you're using Rending Throw with uptime. So one thing I would consider doing is dropping this into this. I probably can do that actually right now. If we just did all of this, I'm pretty sure it would be fine. Don't need that. Do this. Boom, 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 boom. This would probably be my new PvE build right here. Because Raging Torrent's cool, or Feral Rush is cool, but like I said, I hardly ever use Hatchet for PvP these days, so I don't really need a mobility skill. What we do need is a pumper skill, so that's what we'll do now. Boom. Respect live. Doing it. But that's the build, boys and girls. That's the build. Looking pretty solid these days. Mayor of Windsor just putting in work in the office. Doing good. Got the medium build. Still crushing with Great Axe Warhammer. Feeling good. Got lots of territories. The story of our server progresses, lives on. Like I said, as Green, we were trying to take good care of the server, trying to usher the server into a period of green marauder prosperity. But I think that Thanksgiving is over. We got a little time before Christmas. And once everybody gets back from travels and stuff, it's on, baby. It's on. Gonna go to war. Should be fun. Make sure you guys tune in for that on the stream. Make sure you look out for that on here on the YouTubes. Thank you for enduring a long video. Hey, you guys wanted it, man. You guys wanted that character update. You're going to get it. Lots of stuff's been changing. Lots to talk about. Lots of fun. Just in general, New World continues to be a blast for me. I know they have, you know, all these little issues that pop up, all these little bugs and stuff. I desperately hope that they can continue to improve, like, the overall, like, responsiveness and reliability of the servers. I think that's probably been like the main thing that I've been hitting that's been bumming me out is I get some fairly consistent like rubber banding nowadays. The new patch fixed a lot of bugs and did a lot of balancing, which I think is fantastic. It gave more access to content with making it dungeons easier to get into because it doesn't take as many resources to farm. I think it started making some legendary mats drop so you can craft more stuff, but I'd say the combat is fantastic in this game. It really relies a lot on movement and positioning and timing. And so when you're rubber banding back in place, and I feel like I'm playing like 1 second behind the server in terms of where my character is and where I actually see my character being, that's a little bit rough. So that's the only thing that's kind of like a bummer. But we'll keep figuring it out. We'll keep gaming it up. Keep having fun with New World, and we'll keep sticking it out and being part of the community and part of the game. And I'm sure they'll figure out how to fix up all this little server instability, reliability kind of things. And once they do that, oh boy, this game's gonna be a blast. But they continue to be a blast anyway. But let's wrap up the video here. Thanks for watching the long video. We will keep it pumping on stream as well, so make sure you guys tune in for that. Give the video a big thumbs up if you watched it for this long. Big thumbs up to you too. Drop a comment, subscribe, enable notifications to stay up to date on when videos go live every day, and be sure to tune into this stream as well at twitch.tv/Bajheera. See you guys next time. Peace.